Hey everyone, today we're going to focus in on fats, and really this is such an important conversation. We really are in an era where fats are kind of criminalized, everything's low fat, eat less fat, the fat you eat is the fat that you'll wear. And I really want to have a conversation with you about how to flip your conception about fat, how to choose the right kind of fats, because there really is a vast difference when it comes to fats. Really, they're either healthy or completely unhealthy. So it's really important to have the knowledge about how to choose the correct kind of fats, because if I were going to make up a list of most important fats, would probably be number 2 on that list. Number 1 is going to be fasting, because studies have shown that even if you don't have a really great diet and you're not eating really good foods, if you condense your window of eating to 8 to 10 hours a day and fast on, the rest of the day, so you stop eating at a certain time at night and you don't begin eating until a certain time in the next day, it's a continuous amount of time, you give your body an opportunity to activate the autophagy, which we talked about in a previous video, and that's just your body's ability to really heal and repair itself. So that one gets number 1. Also, fasting is what takes care of the mitochondria. Your cells have the mitochondria, and that's the powerhouse. That's where all of your energy comes from. So fasting is what's really taking care of your energy center and the powerhouse of your cell. Fat comes in second because every single one of our cells have a cell membrane, and that membrane is made up of fats. And when we're putting in good, healthy fats, then we have this nice flexible membrane, and the receptors are working, which means it's interacting with our hormones correctly, and it's getting the right communication signals, and it's functioning properly in that way. And also, the membrane has the job of getting rid of the old toxic parts of the cell that need to go, and letting the vitamins and nutrients in. So obviously our body cannot function correctly if our cell membrane is functioning incorrectly. And so that's the picture of a good healthy fat cell. When we're eating the poor fats, the refined fats, the super cheap ones that you can pick up for practically nothing at the store, picture that nice healthy cell membrane coated in varnish. And what happens when we put varnish on something? It gets sticky, it gets gummed up, it's no longer flexible. So you're eliminating your cell's ability to communicate properly. You're eliminating its ability to expel the toxins and bring the vitamins and nutrients in. So it really just debilitates the cell's ability to function properly. It's almost incapacitated with the wrong fats. So we're going to talk today about how to bring those right fats in and really just give you the ability to revitalize your health in so many ways just with these simple swaps. And there are 3 primary types of fat, right? There's saturated, unsaturated, and polyunsaturated. And we're not going to get real sciencey about it. I'm just going to kind of tell you, the more saturated a fat is, the less vulnerable to heat damage it is. And that's important because we use a lot of our fats for cooking, right? That's their basic function. And in many ways for us is to use them for cooking. So the heat that they're exposed to is critical and how they are going to affect our body. So, so how saturation works is it impacts the oxidation. So think of like a Pac-Man game. I feel like I've heard this analogy and I love it. So think of, you've heard of the antioxidants. We talk about berries, we talk about colorful foods, we talk about their level of antioxidants. And oxidation is bad, okay? We don't want oxidation. That is a sign of damage. When your car experiences rust oxidation, it's rusting. And oxidation is also bad for our body. We don't think of oxygen as bad, but in some ways, when things get oxygenated in our body, they do become bad. So our antioxidants are our Pac-Man. He's going around, and oxidative damage produces free radicals. So Pac-Man is coming around and he's eating the free radical damage that causes aging and cancer-related diseases and just in general damage to our body. So Pac-Man is your antioxidants, they're your cleanup crew. The oxidation that causes the free radicals, those are your ghosts. They are going around and they are destroying all of the good things in your body. So we need to boost our antioxidants, give Pac-Man, power him up, and reduce the ghosts, reduce the damage in our body. So that's what we're really going to do when we bring in healthy fats, is we're going to allow our antioxidants to work better. We're going to eliminate a ton of oxidation that comes from these oils. They're really a source of a lot of oxidation that our body experiences. We're going to drastically reduce that, and that's going to make any oxidants that we consume even more effective because they're no longer going to have to undo the damage from these bad oils. So we're going to start by going through the different parts here. I'm going to start going through the different ways to figure out what's a good oil. And I'm going to link all this for you. You don't have to remember all of this, but I want you to hear it. And then I will, create some sort of picture or something, but I'm going to give you the information to look at and see and come back and check on anytime you want to. So the first thing we look at with an oil is its smoke point. And a smoke point is essentially the point whenever you're heating it that it begins to smoke continuously. So while this may not be damaging initially, once an oil reaches its smoke point, it begins to lose its nutritional value. Now, if it keeps going, if it keeps being cooked at this high heat, it can become damaging. And this is where a lot of the problems with olive oil come in, extra virgin olive oil. Studies have been done now showing that we can heat extra virgin olive oil up to about 350, 375. But once you go past that, you're going to lose all of the nutrient profile of olive oil, and it can experience that oxidative damage and become cancer causing. So extra virgin olive oil is one of those oils that originally we were told never to heat it up. But now enough studies have been done to show that we can heat it to a certain point, and it has enough polyphenols and things to protect it up to about 350, 375. So that's just an example. I will go through these oils all together all at once. Another thing that we have to look at is the taste. Does it have a mild taste? Does it have a strong taste? And, that's going to make an impact on whether you want to choose that oil or not for that particular cooking or use. So when you're choosing these oils, the primary things that you need to look at are, first of all, was it cold pressed? Cold pressed means that it was removed from the food source in a way that kept all of its beneficial nutrients, kept its, nutritional profile so that you're going to gain all of the good things from that oil. Unrefined, obviously we don't want them to refine it because that, again, is taking away the nutrients. Of course, organic. If it's not organic, there's a chance that it can have GMOs, which we know can be very taxing because that's just dumping a pesticide and toxin load onto our body. We don't want to take a chance with GMOs. Another thing that's really important is that it's in a dark glass bottle if possible. I know a lot of coconut oil is not going to come in a dark glass bottle, but it is highly saturated. So it's not quite as important, but you want to make sure that that plastic container coconut oil comes in is BPA free. But for all other oils, you really want a dark glass bottle that's going to help keep the oxidation levels down, keep that oil more stable. So if you're at a store, reach for that bottle of, back a little further on the shelf, because the less light that is exposed to, the less damage that is experienced. And also the cooler, store those oils in a cool, dry place, because that again is going to allow them to stay more stable and last longer and keep their nutritional profile intact. So knowing all of those things, we're going to move on to specific oils. And I am going to just start off with the oils that you want to eliminate, right? Because these ones are doing so much damage. And again, this is like a 10x point where it's a tiny change with a huge impact. And so basically your most inexpensive oils, right? Corn oil, canola oil, vegetable oils, soybean oil, all of those super cheap oils. You can get the big plastic container, that liquid gold looking stuff for just a few dollars, practically nothing, right? And the reason why they cost practically nothing is because when they created these oils, they were a byproduct, but they wanted to be able to, still be able to make money off of this byproduct. However, this byproduct was extremely unstable, which means it was literally explosive. At a certain heat point, it would literally explode on you, but additionally, it stunk. It was rancid. So what they do with these oils is they take them and they chemically strip them and bleach them. They bleach them to remove the rancidity so that it's not putrid when you open that bottle. And then they chemically process it. And in order to make it non-flammable, to make it non-explosive. And then they also have to hydrogenate them to keep them from exploding on you. And essentially what all of those things mean is that they've really just given you a product that is extremely inflammatory in your body. It's just literally toxic. And not only that, it's been shown to contribute to cancerous diseases. It's been shown to contribute to heart disease. There's literally nothing beneficial about using these oils, okay? And I know that probably sounds completely contrary to everything that you hear, but the thing is that you have to realize there's a huge economic value in telling us to continue to use these oils. Okay, there's no science whatsoever to support this. You can't find the science that will tell you these oils are healthy for you. What you will find is people telling you to use them anyway. The Heart Association, all of those are telling you to use them, but the science is not supporting that. So I get that this is contrary to popular teaching, but trust me when I tell you what I'm telling you is based on the science. I told you the science. I told you about the saturation. All of these things are proven by science. And actually, even when the American Heart Association, the whole ordeal with coconut oil came out, it was completely unsupported by science. There was no scientific backing for that. It was just... And to be fair, way too much coconut oil is bad for you. Obviously, everything in moderation, but for the most part, saturated fats are really great for you. So let's go down through why I'm going to recommend these fats, which fats I'm going to recommend, and kind of their cooking point. But again, like I said, I'm going to give you all this information in a chart. So don't feel like you have to memorize this, but I want you to hear it. And we're going to start off with a tea seed oil, which is an oil that was new to me when I read the Glow 15 book. I was like, tea seed oil, I've never heard of that. But apparently this little lesser known oil is incredible. It has an incredibly high smoke point of 485 degrees. Very few of us are cooking anything over 485 degrees. So that means it's safe for pretty much any type of cooking that you're doing. On top of that, it has incredibly high polyphenol and antioxidant values, which means really good for you. Lowering your blood pressure, improving your cholesterol, and it even is going to boost your immunity with its antimicrobial properties, which means it's killing off bad stuff and promoting good, healthy bacteria and, those organisms that create health in us. So tea seed oil, and I'm going to link you. I had to look up to some healthy places to buy it because you really can't just buy it anywhere. It's not widely known or available. So I'm going to help you source that. But it really also has a very mild taste. So it's not going to hugely impact your meals. And it can be used raw. It can be used on your skin. So if you want to try a new oil that's a little bit unique, I suggest trying the tea seed oil. I'm excited for us to try it as well. Next, okay, so she lists the canola and corn. They have very high smoke points of 400 degrees and above. However, these are highly processed, just like I said, and they're just harmful. Just get rid of them. kick them out of your cabinet. You paid practically nothing for it. And while there is going to be a drastic price difference, you know, you probably paid like $1 or $2 for that oil, that highly processed oil, and maybe you're going to pay $8 to $10 for these healthier oils. Don't forget you're also getting an exponential increase in your health. So look at these as an investment in your health, a huge investment in your health. And really $8 to $10 is not a huge amount of money to get a huge health benefit. Okay, so extra virgin olive oil, I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier. We now know the study was done in 2015, but the thing about scientific studies are, first the science has to be done, then the science has to be published, then the science has to make its way to the practitioners and the people who are teaching us how to, who bring us the information from these scientific studies, right? They're the ones reading it and bringing it to us. And so then we have to get that information from them. So this takes a trickle-down effect of usually 10 years. So knowing this only 4 years post-study is actually pretty good. So you can go up to about 375 degrees with olive oil. I would suggest sticking closer to 350. So what does that mean? That means you can pretty much basically bake with it. And if you're cooking with it, just do low and slow. Same with like a stir fry. Just a lower heat, maybe up to a medium heat on your stove top, and just let it cook a little bit slower, because olive oil comes with so many health boosting benefits. You don't want to lose those, and you pay the extra money to get a good quality product. Don't burn that off. You don't want to do that. You want to take your time, add another 5 minutes, 10 minutes to your cooking time, and get that nutritional profile. Coconut oil goes up to about 350 degrees. Now you can get a refined coconut oil if you don't want that tropical taste of the unrefined coconut oil. Just know that while the refined coconut oil is cheaper, it also doesn't have the nutritional content. All of that has been stripped. So essentially you're just paying to have an oil that isn't going to be harmful to you at a high heat, but it also has no helpful qualities either. So that one again, so coconut oil is really full of the MCTs, or the medium chain triglycerides, which we hear in the keto diet, right? Because we use the MCTs as a energy source, right? Those are converted into energy for our cells. So that's the really great thing about coconut oil. And of course, so baking, low heat sauteing, soups, throw it in your bulletproof coffee, throw that in your fat bombs. We know there's a lot of things we can do with coconut oil. And sesame oil is a really great one, toasted sesame oil. So this is one of those polyunsaturated ones that are really high in antioxidants so that you can heat it. And to about 350 degrees. But sesame seed oil, on top of its incredible health and heart boosting properties, it's also known for reducing some of the risk of developing cancer. So it's going to reduce your risk of developing cancer, and it's going to add this really great taste. It's really known well in Asian dishes. It's a really rich taste. So this is a fun one to put in a dish if you really want to bring out some flavor. And she also lists walnut oil. Walnut and flax to me are pretty much a cold oil. You can heat them up slightly to around 300 degrees, but both of these oils become unstable very quickly and have to be refrigerated. And I just think they're best used cold. Of course, walnut oil has amazing health benefits. It's made from walnuts. We know that walnuts are excellent for our brain and for our heart. So there's really great reasons to access walnut oil, but this is probably one of those oils you'll get once you have your basic oils and you're looking to kind of expand the different oils that you're using. And but yeah, both flax and walnut really have to be sourced from a really reputable source, because they do lose their nutritional qualities very easily once it's turned into an oil. So if you're not really confident in where you're getting this oil from, that they're not really, telling you all of the work that they do to keep this oil stable and healthy by the time it gets to you, it's probably not worth spending your money on. So those are just a few of them. And actually avocado oil isn't mentioned in her list in the Glow 15, but avocado oil is one of my favorites. It is amazing for your skin. It is really great for cooking. It has a higher smoke point too. You can go up to almost 400 degrees with avocado oil. And it is just another one of those really fantastic oils. And personally for me, I do a lot of my cooking with avocado oil. It has the highest smoke point of all the oils I personally have. It's easily accessible. You can find it anywhere from TJ Maxx to Sam's Club. Again, you know, you're kind of going to run into some quality issues there. If you're going to use it for more cold things, I definitely say getting it from a great source, maybe a little higher quality source than TJ Maxx or Sam's Club. But for the most part, if you're using it primarily for cooking reasons, those locations are just fine. And again, if it's on a lower shelf, if it's not on a top shelf, try to go a few bottles back and get one that's had less exposure to light. And I personally don't really cook with the extra virgin olive oil. We typically keep that for salads, but now having done the research and studied, because there are so many different opinions on extra virgin olive oil, I feel safe saying if you're going to cook with it and you're keeping it at or below 350 degrees, go ahead. It does retain its nutritional benefits. And of course, coconut oil. Coconut oil has so many fantastic properties to it. It is a fully saturated fat, so you don't want your primary consumption to be coconut oil, but it is a really great oil to add to your, kind of collection of fats that are really great for you. And on top of that, butter and ghee. Those fats are fantastic for cooking, and let me just tell you, they have incredible nutritional properties when they're from a grass-fed source, which of course are insanely expensive to try to buy a grass-fed butter source. But despite the price, you are getting really, really health-boosting benefits from butter. Of course, there's always lard. You can use lard from, your bacon or any of those kind of things, if they're sourced from a really great source. And also bone broth, cooking in bone broth. Bone broth can easily be heated. It makes an excellent, it tastes excellent on your food. It's really going to boost the taste factor. So those are some other options. I'm constantly I would say anytime I'm doing stovetop, it's almost always bone broth that I'm cooking my meats in. And that kind of boils down and gives you kind of a pour over effect of a concentrated flavor to really boost the flavor of your dish. So that's a ton of information. I will break it down for you guys and kind of a chart, thing here that I'll post for you guys. But I hope that you guys gained a little bit of information and that you can really just see the importance of choosing a healthy fat. And that, again, while this one definitely has a price tag attached to it, it is really not that high of a price for the amount of nutritional benefit that you're going to get. And I really hope that you make this your next step into boosting your health and making changes. And I really hope that you throw away those other oils, because they are having a dramatic impact on your body's ability to heal.